The Life of Hercules, a Tale of Glory and Suffering. In the ancient land of Greece, beneath the watchful eyes of the gods, a child was born who would bridge the world of men and the realm of Olympus. His name was Heracles, though the Romans would later call him Hercules, and his story, marked by divine strength, unbearable suffering, and immortal glory, would echo through time like the clang of a hero's sword. Heracles was born of a mortal woman, Alcmene, and Zeus, the king of the gods. Zeus, ever enamored with the world below, disguised himself as Alcmene's husband and lay with her. From this union came a son touched by godhood. But not all were pleased. Hera, Zeus's queen, burned with vengeance. She hated Heracles from the moment he drew breath, not for what he had done, but for what he represented, yet another betrayal. Even as a baby, Heracles showed signs of divine strength. Hera, in her cruelty, sent 2 monstrous serpents into his cradle as he lay beside his twin brother, Iphicles. But the child Heracles, not yet able to speak, reached out with tiny fists and strangled the serpents where they slithered. It was the first miracle of many. As he grew, Heracles became a giant among men. He trained under wise teachers, the music master Linus, whom he accidentally killed in a fit of rage, and Chiron, the immortal centaur who taught him wisdom and the arts of war. Tall, strong, with eyes like polished bronze and a voice that could shake a mountain, Heracles was both awe-inspiring and fearsome. In Thebes, he married Megara, a noble princess, and together they had children. For a time, Heracles knew peace. But Hera had not forgotten him. She struck him with a madness so deep and cruel that he mistook his own family for enemies. When the trance lifted, he found the lifeless bodies of his wife and children in his arms, his hands stained with the blood of those he loved. Grief drove him to the oracle of Delphi, where he begged for redemption. The oracle told him he must serve King Eurystheus of Tiryns and complete 12 labors, each a near impossible task designed to purge his sins and prove his worth to both gods and men. And so began the 12 labors of Heracles, each more perilous than the last. The Nemean lion, a beast whose golden hide no blade could pierce. Heracles wrestled it with his bare hands and wore its pelt as armor. The Lernaean hydra, a serpent with many heads that regrew 2 for each one cut. With the help of his nephew Iolaus, Heracles cauterized the necks and buried the immortal head. The Ceryneian hind, a sacred deer of Artemis. Heracles chased it for a year, captured it without harm, and appeased the goddess with respect. The Erymanthian boar, a massive beast he drove into deep snow, capturing it alive. The Augean stables, home to thousands of cattle, never cleaned. Heracles diverted 2 rivers to wash them out in a single day. The Stymphalian birds, with metallic feathers like arrows, he used a rattle gifted by Athena to startle them into flight and shot them from the sky. The Cretan bull, father of the Minotaur. Heracles subdued it with his strength alone. The mares of Diomedes, man-eating horses, tamed after Heracles fed their cruel master to them. The belt of Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons. A peaceful exchange was corrupted by Hera's tricks, leading to battle. Heracles claimed the belt. The cattle of Geryon, a giant with 3 bodies. Heracles crossed the desert, slew Geryon, and brought back the prized herd. The apples of the Hesperides, guarded by a 100-headed dragon, Heracles convinced the Titan Atlas to fetch them while he held the sky on his shoulders. Cerberus, the 3-headed hound of the underworld. Heracles descended into Hades and returned with the beast, unharmed, proving not even death could bar his path. When he completed these labors, Heracles was more than a hero, he was a legend. Yet the gods, and Hera most of all, were not finished with him. Heracles wandered the world, joining wars, overthrowing tyrants, and completing heroic deeds. But the shadows never left him. He found new love in Deianira, a princess he saved from a centaur named Nessus. As Nessus lay dying, he whispered to Deianira that his blood would ensure Heracles's fidelity. In truth, it was poison. Years later, when Deianira feared Heracles loved another, she smeared Nessus's blood on a tunic and gave it to her husband. The moment Heracles wore it, pain like wildfire coursed through his body. The robe clung to his flesh, burning it to the bone. In agony, Heracles climbed Mount Oeta and built his own funeral pyre. No one dared light it, until a young man named Philoctetes stepped forward. As the flames rose, Heracles lay upon the pyre, not screaming, but calm. From the heavens, Zeus looked down and saw his sons suffering. With a bolt of lightning, he struck the pyre, and in that flash Heracles's mortal body was consumed. But his soul did not perish. The gods welcomed him to Olympus. Hera, moved by his endurance, forgave him. She even gave him her daughter, Hebe, goddess of youth, as his bride. Heracles took his place among the immortals, where no pain or madness could reach him again. And so, Heracles, the man who suffered more than most, who labored not just for glory but for redemption, became a god, not because he was born of Zeus, but because he earned it. To this day, his name is spoken not just in reverence, but in recognition of what lies within the human spirit, the will to rise again, no matter how many times we fall. Look to the sky, and you'll find his constellation, a hero forever shining among the stars.